Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV. We are a go. Seamlessly, boys. Seamlessly.
Yes.
Down to the waning seconds there. We had it done.
Beater.
Whew, it's a good thing. You hear him talking. That's Ira. That's Corey. I'm Jeff. Good to be with you. Hello, everybody in the chat. And let's start with a little yay sausage. Yay sausage!
That felt like the Apollo mission.
Apollo 13.
Yeah, the Apollo 13 mission.
Not the good one.
Yeah, Warchant Doc. Well, shoot. I'm just flustered.
You're flustered, not this guy.
No,
this guy's not flustered.
I
It's
was
Seminole
flustered
Headlines.
for you.
Yeah, you were flustered for me. We're good. Even the cameras are set up properly. We're rolling.
Yay sausage.
Yay
if
sausage.
you go to registermeats.com, we actually, I think there was a can't remember. I don't think there was a new promo code this week. There was a promo code last week, but you don't need a promo code to get excited for some sausage. And if you go to registermeats.com, you can have it delivered to wherever you live, or if you live in the ever-growing territory of Register Sausage, from over in Mariana into Alabama, South Carolina, down to Tampa, Jacksonville.
It's everywhere, guys.
South Carolina.
I would have thought he'd done a promo code for the baseball team.
Let's get on that,
the
Ben.
Sweep. Something about a sweep or Miami or something.
I'll
or
double
also,
check.
and then next week, the draft is coming up. So do something about the draft, too.
We need a weekly promo code.
Well, I feel like these are two special things that Ben always jumps on.
Maybe he's saving it for the regional. Or
Probably.
the supers.
Yeah. Omaha. That's going to be the promo code.
Yeah, Omaha's a celebration that you would definitely have to have a promo code for. I don't know about the NFL draft, although it's going to feature a bevy of Noles. So perhaps a bevy of Noles. And then, I don't know, maybe something this week for the spring game, indeed.
It was good seeing Ben out at the golf tournament.
It was
on
great
Friday.
to see Ben. It was great to see everybody. And I'm glad you guys came, participated, had a good time. I think you did.
I feel like we won. I don't know. I don't understand the scoring with our handicaps, Ira, with you and I's handicap.
I feel like I don't think that we get full credit for our handicaps.
I don't know. It just goes into a back room somewhere and it comes out and somebody won. And they do the math themselves. They don't tell us how it's done.
The funny thing about all charity golf tournaments is that invariably when the winner is announced, there's like 10 teams of people going, well,
of course.
I think we know what happened right there.
I guess we had to shoot hole-in-ones on every hole.
I see how it's going to be. Yeah.
Needed to cheat better. I think that's the moral of the story.
I think we could have played better. That might have helped Aslan and Matt a little bit too.
But they knew what they were getting into.
Exactly right, Ira. And I think our handicaps
theoretically
are supposed to help the team. How bad we are is supposed to help the team.
It did. I mean, I think you guys were right there, like third place, just out of the money, guys. Just out of the money.
That last putt on 18.
I'll have to go back and look at it, but I think you were just out of the money if memory serves. So,
but thanks to Tom and Capital City and all the people who helped put on the tournament, because I thought it ran really well for us. I mean, we had a great time. And
it was. And we thanked everybody. It was fun to talk yesterday about that. And I will say that there was almost too much alcohol at this year's tournament. Almost, not quite. But, I mean, you really didn't have to go more than a hole or two before some more was introduced.
Can I tell a secret?
Yeah.
Like I was replacing our stash with things from the holes. We're like, all right, we'll put these back in here.
Absolutely, you can. So you just took your warm beers and put them back in the cooler and grabbed the fresh cold ones that were provided.
Watching.
We had cold ones in the cooler so we could swap them out. But it was, we were working ahead.
All right, so this is a good week, man. It's a busy week. We have a lot of things that we're doing this week.
The portal's open?
As a team.
Wide open?
Yeah, so for Florida State and all of college football, the portal is open. I did an interview that should run tomorrow with Ingram Smith about that and about the event on Friday. Ira, you're going to be involved in that event on Friday.
Correct, yeah.
Look forward to that.
What? You can come too.
You're allowed to be there. We're not banned, but we are at a different event.
You guys have your own thing going on.
Oh, we are.
That I was never invited to.
Okay, you're right. Okay.
You were invited. Everybody from Warchant is invited, but we have to spread our talents.
Right.
So we said, well, all right, Ira, the veteran lead writer, he's going to be the guy. He's going to be the man.
It's like when the Harlem Globetrotters go to a city and like four of them go to one elementary school, three don't go to another. They're
like, where's Curly? He's in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
He had the New Hampshire gig. We had to give somebody something. But anyhow, so Friday, as people make their way into town, they can actually do both events. Let's just get this out there so everybody knows what we're talking about. The Battle's End is doing something at the Moon at 5:30. It's going to involve Coach Norvell and former players, and also a roundtable involving Ira and other writers talking about the spring and all of that stuff. And Mike's going to kind of do a team address, if you will.
A
let everybody
round
know.
table.
Well, yeah, he's
like a panel discussion.
With Norvell?
No.
Oh, okay.
We're the
Gotcha.
the opening act.
You're the opening act.
Yeah. It's
So Norvell is in the big letters on the poster, and you're like,
we're not on the poster.
Ira's name was not on the poster, nor was anybody else's.
Oh,
it just
I was
says
thinking if it
Mike
was a
Norvell.
music festival, you'd be one of the ones you could see from 10 feet.
You know
away.
what'd be great?
We'd be on the auxiliary stage.
No, but what's awesome about those festivals is that you pick up the sheet and you're like, okay. Oh, Ira's gonna be playing. Look at that.
The Gin
third row.
Blossoms.
We're gonna have to get there on Wednesday. We got to get there on Wednesday. They're playing.
Exactly.
I didn't know Asia was still touring.
They're still around. How about that? Heat of the moment. We're there on Thursday, baby. Yeah. So long story short, you'll be doing that at 5. We're going to be at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, just as we were a year ago, Corey.
Yep. It was
Yucking
exactly
it up
a year
with the
ago.
folks.
Not just yucking it up.
Yeah.
Getting engaged.
That's right.
Yeah,
It
last
was the
year
Friday.
it
It was
was,
the
yes.
Friday
It was.
before the spring game.
How about that?
Yep.
But we don't have to do a broadcast this time.
We don't, and that was almost purely so I could do it on. I could do my proposal in front of people, the world, really, and it worked out. It was perfect. It's just been a year. All right, does it feel like it's been a year since I got engaged?
Feels like a little longer, actually.
Oh, all right. Well, I don't know how to take that.
Time normally flies.
Yeah,
if you're having fun. Ira's had no fun with your marriage,
in
this arrangement of this situation. But you can swing by there. It's a happy hour event. It begins at 5 at the CP on Appalachian Parkway. You can swing by, have a cold one with us, say hello, and then roll on over.
The moon is really close.
The moon's right there.
It
It's right there. So I actually think people will do that.
There's usually a lot of overlap between those two clientele.
Yeah, the moon and CP. Yeah.
What are you most looking forward to as for this week as we build up to the spring game? It's the showcase. Sorry, guys. Right? That's what they call it now, showcase.
I think it's the spring showcase.
Spring showcase.
It's not really a game, right?
Tempering expectations. Don't think you're going to see score kept. I miss the days when they used to do the scores for defense.
Yeah,
like
the defense got to stop.
I always kind of hated that because it was so
dumbest.
ridiculous and willy-nilly. And if you could just run by and pretend you were going to touch somebody, they're like, that's it.
That's a point.
It's a
but
point
it's also
in a
a
sack.
point. Yeah.
I didn't like it at all.
Mickey didn't like it either. Yeah, it's never been good. I mean, the old days, man, again, it sound like the old men, but when you have like two separate teams and you actually kept score, it seemed like it was pretty fun, but we can't do that anymore. So
I was at the Dan Kendra nightmare and I knew it was forever changed. We wouldn't be doing that anymore.
But I think it'll still be good. I mean, it'll be good to see some of these guys show what they can do. And I mentioned this last night talking to Aslan during the Smash, that I would like to see Mike Norvell give DJ some chances to kind of show people what he can do, because FSU fans have not seen him. They've heard us talking about him.
Correct.
They've maybe seen some video highlights that we put out, but they haven't seen him with their own eyes. The last time they've seen him was when he was at Clemson, probably for most people. I don't think many people saw Oregon State. So I think it would be good to let him kind of air out some passes. And
you mean throw deep, like show off the gun.
Yeah. And maybe put the defense in some trying positions so he can hit some big plays, just to kind of get people excited about what he could do. Like, my concern is if they don't do that and the offense doesn't seem very explosive, then I think there's just going to be kind of 4 months of not anti-excitement. It's going to be anticlimactic.
I mean, I think most reasonable, fair-minded people, I hope, understand that the way you look, good or bad, in a spring game is not necessarily indicative of what you're going to look like. I know most people aren't reasonable, so you could counter with that, but I mean, look, it's usually kind of a convoluted mess, the spring game. There's some good moments. Remember a couple of years back where they started with 2-point conversions and everything was coming up, everything was interceptions, and it was like 100-mile-per-hour winds? That wasn't a good idea.
Just not do that, maybe.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Put them in some. I just feel like put them in some positions to. It's like chicks like the long ball.
Oh my
chicks love
God!
the long ball.
What kind of show are we doing out here today? This is not serious XM porn.
And football fans want to see some scoring. I just want to see some offense in this game.
And that kid can throw it a mile, and I would absolutely let him air it out at least 3 or 4 times, if only to do that. Yeah. Even if it's not complete, just so people in the stands can see how big of an arm he has. That's truly, I agree. I think they will. I think they'll have fun with it. I think that this is a spring game. You and I were talking on yesterday's show. I think that, man, there's so many new faces that are expected to contribute and play an important role in the success of this year's team in the fall. So everybody, like those Alabama transfers, that LSU transfer, the Georgia transfer, I mean, everybody's like, well, this is the first they get to see him.
Right.
We've seen him every day. Yeah. We get to go out there. These people are going to be like, oh, that's the kid. Oh, yeah, he's the running back. Oh, that's the wide receiver. That's because these guys are going to play an important role. They're not just transferring in for depth. Many of these guys were expecting to start or at least be in that rotation. So I do think that enthusiasm will carry over into the stadium for fans that are making their way to town who haven't been able to see them the way we have throughout practice. It'll be awesome.
It's a different kind of enthusiasm, though. It's just a different sport. Like, you remember back in the day, the dynasty days, like, you would want to go to a spring game just to see the true freshmen or the redshirt freshmen, to see how good, knowing they weren't going to play a lot.
But also knowing they weren't going to leave.
Well, that too. And you wanted to just see, okay, what's the next batch of great players coming through? It's just so different now, because we talk about DJ or we talk about Roydell Williams, and it's like, well, it'll be the first time you see him in garnet and gold, but so many of these guys have played a lot of football. And there's a lot of they kind of are what they are. Like, they can get better. I'm not saying they can't, but who they are was on film last year. If you just go on YouTube, it's a different kind of excitement when you get to see them in a Florida State uniform,
and also how they work within this offense.
Sure.
And many of them are being asked to play a bigger role than they played on their previous team.
Yeah, and I also think that there's the diehard fans who would go watch film of Roydell Williams.
Right.
I think a lot of the people that are going to show up at the spring game are not diehard fans. They're just going to be people who want to see what this new team looks like. And so I think it will be a first opportunity for some people. Jalen Brown's a guy that with his speed on defense, Earl Little's a guy that, hopefully he can show what he can do. And Darrell Jackson, people heard so much about Darrell Jackson. Then the only time they could see him was in ridiculous Orange Bowl
circumstances.
And so, I think there's a lot of people that if you're going to that game, I would print out a roster and kind of circle the numbers you want to see and try to keep an eye on them, because there's a lot of guys you haven't seen yet.
To the point that I think Corey was making, and we were talking about with spring games, they're always weird and convoluted. I always think of these things now in the modern sense of like, is this going the way of like all-star games, the NHL skills contest, the NBA skills contest, these different skills because coaches, I can't imagine, what Mike Norvell wanted to see, he has seen in those scrimmages. This isn't going to be that.
Yeah. I don't know.
So, it's almost like how much do you show? How physical do you allow it to get?
Right.
What do you do? Like, do we do sets and circumstances and downs and distances and red zone and all that? I mean, I think for fans, the whole thing is come in and look at the guys that you wanted to see, look at those skill sets, but just do what you're here to do, which is rejoin with your friends and family that you haven't seen since the end of football season, tailgate and have a good time.
Check out the new stadium.
Yeah.
How's that going to work for people?
It's going to be that's basically that side, I think, is the stadium. I think everybody's going to mostly be on that side in one end zone. I don't think there's going to be people on the side where they've wrecked it.
It'd be pretty impossible.
I did get some communication from our show. I think it was last week or the week before, where we questioned, one of the questions was about the Champions Club kind of on the sideline and how that's going to affect the
people were upset about it.
Yeah, because I heard from some people at the university that part is going to be very small. It's not going to be like the whole side is going to be a club. So it's not like the whole side is going to have people in the club. And
you're talking about like the
concerns
that
the concerns that the Champions Club, that what they're doing on the sidelines when it's all done will be like the Champions Club,
where it doesn't look like there's anybody in the stands.
Exactly, it's not going to be like that for a variety of reasons. But one of them is it's not even a big part of that side. So
you can also make them have to go sit in their seats. Like literally make them drag them to
pay extra to have those seats, and then tell them that they don't get amenities, but they have to sit in the sun and deal with it.
Yes, exactly right.
But the point is, it's not going to be what
it's not going to be
the impression
a
people
swath
have.
of 5,000.
Exactly.
Where are those? Where is that club going to be? Is it going to be right behind the sideline? Is it going to be 30 rows up?
I think it's up a little bit.
It has to be up. It would suck to be all the way
It's
down
also
there.
not going to be on TV because the TV will be behind it. So even if there weren't people in that little swath because they were inside, you wouldn't see it. Because the cameras aren't on the other sideline, they're right behind it, so you wouldn't see it.
Ira, when you and I were in Ireland and we went to Aviva Stadium and we walked down onto the field, which people will have an opportunity to do. Well, they won't be able to do that. Only us. We did that. We did that.
Yep.
Your average fan will pay a lot of money instead of being paid as we were to go over, and they won't get to be on the field the way we were. But that said, that wasn't the point I was making. That said, you noted when we were down there and we both turned around and looked where the seats were, we thought, well, that ain't good for football.
Right.
Like, you can't see anything. And they said, oh, well, we just,
if you had 100 people standing there,
that ain't
it's going to be problematic. But they'll actually have the fans a little bit higher. They won't.
So I would imagine this is much the same.
Yeah.
Corey.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I worked in a humble brag. Well,
no, you did.
A less than humble brag.
And also, I wanted to get back to the people to circle on the rosters. We've talked so much about them. I really hope Jalen Lucas takes 180. But it won't bother me if he doesn't, because I know what I know and I've seen what I've seen. That guy is going to make some huge plays in this offense. I think honestly, and I wrote about it. Is it on the website yet? What I wrote?
It is.
He and Ja'Kai have been the guys that have made the most plays.
Yeah, and the only thing I would say, I agree with you. They made the most plays, but I still don't think Ja'Kai is any chance he's going to be wide receiver 1.
Oh, I would never think that.
Right.
But so far in the spring, they've been the guys that have made the most wow plays in their brothers. That's cool. It's a cool story.
It is
and
cool.
They're the smallest kids on the team.
Yeah, that's why you don't want them to be wide receiver.
No,
one
but
ever.
You want them to be their playmakers.
Playmakers.
Yeah, you got
question.
playmakers, man.
Well, we're all enamored with Lucas. I mean, that kid has been special since the first day that he got here, coming in from Indiana and looking at the way that he breaks things open. I agree he's going to be a huge playmaker. If I were Norvell, I'd engineer it. It would definitely happen. Like in this spring game, I'd be like, here's the play we're going to run. Right. We're going to tell the defense we're running a different play.
Just so
everybody gets to see this
you
kid.
Have this defense on the field.
Yeah. I want people to see this kid catch the corner. And it's unreal. It is unreal. It'll take your breath away.
And this is a situation, like back when the Jameis spring, kind of comparing the springs, when Jameis had his spring, his first kind of introduction to the fan base, I thought Jimbo should temper things, like not let him have the crazy play like he did, his first pass,
walk on for a touchdown.
I just thought, like, Jimbo, what are you doing? That's going to set the expectations way too high. I think this situation is a little bit different, and it turned out it was perfectly fine because Jameis was Jameis. But in this situation, I feel like some fans are still very much wait and see. And I think if you can give this offense some chance, because you lost Jordan Travis, Johnny Wilson, Keon Coleman, Jaheim Bell, Trey Benson. So I think it would be important. We always say you don't want to see the defense get shredded, and nobody wants to see that. But I do think we need to see some highlight plays out of this offense.
Yeah, nobody wants to watch 6-0 either.
Right.
Yeah. So you're like, well, our defense is pretty good. That or our offense sucks. Like you like balance. Yeah. I think we know the offense is going to be pretty good. To what extent we don't know, but the kid's got a massive arm, and they brought in the requisite personnel to run what they want to run. Which I think they're going to run the ball better, which will set up the deep shots, which will set up taking advantage of all that speed that they brought in at wide receiver. That's probably the number one thing. When we say that's the number one thing that fans coming in to watch this group for the first time are going to notice is that it's a lot faster team.
They should, yeah. If everybody's out there running around like they should, you'll see that Malik Benson can really go. Lucas can really go. Jaylen Brown can really go.
Yeah, I wish Destin Hill hadn't gotten banged up.
Yes, because he can really go.
And he was having a good spring.
Stinks.
But, also defensively, I think the size, I think people – there's a lot to like about this team. There's still some questions we got to figure out, and that's kind of what Corey wrote about in his column. But there's a lot to like about this team too, especially for a team that had a lot of people to replace. They brought in 14 transfer portal guys. They have another one coming. That offensive lineman's coming after in the summer.
Who?
The Harvard kid.
Jacob Rizzi.
Okay. All right.
And
Rizzi? Is that his last name? That's a cool name.
R-I-Z-Y.
He's got some Riz.
He does have some Riz.
I knew you were going to do this.
That's a cool name.
One thing on the show over the years is we've been here for all the changes in dialect and slang, and most of the time when we say it, he's right.
Corey's usually at the forefront,
but he always latches onto it and says it, and I can count it in my head. I'm like, here it comes, 3, 2, 1, and it's going to sound so effing awkward.
No, that wasn't awkward. It was hilarious.
I thought you nailed it.
I thought I did too.
Yeah, you should say Riz a lot.
I should.
I think it'll work out for you. You should bring it up often.
This team is lit. That's a good one.
We're past.
Right? Okay, that's past. That isn't a thing anymore.
I have not heard lit in some time.
Okay, well, whatever.
But you're on top of Riz. any more that you want to use from the lexicon of kids?
Mid. I think we don't want this team to be mid.
We almost missed mid. I think mid's almost out the door.
No, it's still right there.
Do you say these things in front of Brady?
Oh, of course not.
Okay.
No, I just tell him to get in his room and shut the door.
That's better.
And his mouth.
And his mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if I ever text like a slang or anything that I think is hip to the kids, it's met with
eye rolls.
And other comments.
All right, watch this, boys. You silence yourselves. You ready? Yeah, okay. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Its members get many benefits, including priority service. Members jump to the front of the line when their comfort system fails. And a 15% discount on all parts. The Peak Performance membership pays for itself over and over again. Call today and have peace of mind. And Parker's is now offering electrical services too.
Parker's Services, comfort system all the way.
Florida license number CMC 050334.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test.
Your heating and air conditioning system doesn't check with you before it takes a break. That's why we're always ready to help. Any day, anytime, anywhere. And with our annual service agreement, there are no overtime charges. Ever. At Verno Heating and Air, we will always be there for you.
Barry knows heating and air conditioning.
License CAC 1816186.
This is Jamie McClenny with Trek Financial in Tallahassee. Despite the highest global interest rates in almost 2 decades, inverted yield curves, conflicts in the Middle East, and 3 of the largest bank failures in U.S. history, equities and bond markets have posted stellar returns for 2023. The Dow Jones, the NASDAQ 100, and the Russell 2000 all reached new highs as markets rallied on the expectations of Fed pauses, Fed easing, and Fed bank bailouts. Markets are going to do what markets are going to do, but a clearly defined risk management protocol can help to mitigate large drawdowns in your retirement nest egg. If you're concerned where all this might be headed, call me at 850-900-5200 and let's talk about ways to mitigate the risk in your portfolio.
Make Jamie your first call for that second opinion. Investment advisory services offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
And away we go. We're good. We should be all right.
Killing it over here.
Yeah, man.
I'm trying to kill it over here. We'll see.
You're making everybody else obsolete.
You know, that's what happened when they automated and did voice guys all over the country. Pretty soon, the local FM DJ didn't matter because anybody can hit play on the next Nirvana song, right? It doesn't take real talent to do that. But this guy kept his job because you can't do that. You can't provide that kind of entertainment.
Exactly right.
That's
can't
right.
AI that. Can't fake that, can you?
Got to be able to do that. Hey, so we should have mentioned.
Cringe is another one that I never liked and I never got behind.
Cringe-worthy, or that's
just
cringe?
That's cringe. I'm not a big fan. I think that's still a thing. But I've skipped it. I don't play that game.
You just
I'm all about Riz. I'm all about Riz.
There's another one that we shouldn't bring up that is, I think, derogatory in terms of praising another person. Have you heard this amongst the kids praising other kids? It gets to a point where somebody says that they're doing something.
You could tell us at the break.
That's something. Yeah, text it to us.
When I say it, you're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I've heard it. I've heard that." I get on my kids. I'm like, "That's not what we do. That's a terrible thing." Hey, we haven't mentioned the fact that the baseball team's effing awesome.
Are they?
Yeah.
And just own that ass on a stretch that is historically cool. And I'm not talking about for the first time in 60 years or whatever the hell. I don't care about that. The series was different back then. You used to play 6 games and 4 games.
You should still care. It's
that's nice. It's nice, but it also is not apples to apples. What I'm saying is, go to hell, Miami. That's kind of what I'm saying. Go to hell, Miami. And Florida, I can't even say anything to Florida. They're just not competitive.
Right.
That's an embarrassing series. They really didn't deserve to be on the same field. They kind of quit.
Yeah.
They were brutalized in a way they won't soon get over. It affected them into their next series as well.
think they lost 6 straight.
They beat South Carolina on Sunday.
Sunday, they got that one win in there.
Yeah, that's right. They were on a 6-game losing streak.
There's a glossed over malaise, this look on their face like they suddenly woke up and realized who O'Sullivan was, and that maybe they don't want to play for that guy. Who knows? But anyhow, it was fun to watch the 19-4 ass stomping and all of those things. But the Miami series was even better because Miami desperately wanted to win those games and fought hard. They're just not good enough and couldn't win nary a one of them, guys. They couldn't win a single one of those games with 2 of the starters in the rotation out for Florida State. Right. They still couldn't win a game.
Good point.
Yeah.
And it made them so mad they threw a baseball into the dugout on their way off the field. I mean, I would have liked to have seen the benches clear. I would have liked to have seen a full-on fight. I would have liked to have us to throw at them repeatedly. But I know in college, it's frowned upon. It is what it is.
The game, I think it was Friday game, that was impressive. The one they scored, the offense scored in 7 straight innings.
Mm-hmm.
And every inning was like 1 run or 2 runs or 1
pressure.
It's relentless. It really is relentless. And it was what I had written in my lead about the relentless offense. And then we were downstairs when we were talking in the interviews afterwards, and Tibbs goes, I like to use the word relentless about our offense. I was like,
that's right.
Me and you, buddy,
Tibbs.
we're on the same page.
Relentless, overwhelming.
Not the only thing you and him have in common.
Yeah. Also our swings.
Just athleticism.
Swings. I mean, if you saw my swing
back in the day, somebody texted me that. They said, you should have seen Ira down back in the day, down south.
Sweet righty swing.
Yeah, it was gorgeous to watch the way he just dropped the handle.
You got a taste of it in golf.
I did get a taste of it.
No, but so here's the deal. My whole theme yesterday was just appreciate the hell out of this and let's see where it goes instead of saying like, oh, well, now you have to do this. They were so damn bad last year. To see them be this good, this quick.
Yeah.
You got to revel in this. I mean, yeah, you'll be nervous. We all will. And we'll see what happens in the postseason. But like revel in this. They're legit good. Like good.
Yeah. It almost is to the point now where, man, if you start lamenting, like, well, golly, if Whitaker and Leiter, if Whitaker, we don't know when, if he'll be back, and Leiter, you hope he comes back. But if you had a full healthy staff, including the kid that threw 100, that isn't, you'd be like, okay, they'd be the favorites to win. They might be the favorites to win the College World Series. I mean, they still got some issues with pitching, especially if they keep losing starters. But they're so good offensively and defensively and running the bases that you're like, man, 1 or 2 more pieces, and they could still do it, but 1 or 2 more pieces, and you're like, golly, they would be the favorites to win.
Well, I definitely think these next 2 weekends, you feel like that even if they don't have Leiter and Whitaker, you feel like they've got a chance because of the lineup and because of what they pieced together with the pen. I mean, it's, you're seeing guys that are pitching 4 or 5 innings, giving you good 4 or 5 quality innings against a decent team. I mean, Miami's not terrible. They're not Florida.
Correct.
So, and so I think that it gives you a chance in some of these games on the road. Now, again, last time they went on the road, it didn't end well. So you want to see guys progress from that, but I think they will.
Oh, you're forgetting the Boston College series, Ira. They won 2 out of 3 there.
Yeah, I'm thinking the one.
You're thinking of the Clemson one.
Yeah, kind of didn't pay a lot of attention to the BC one.
I think the offense plays the rest of the year, and obviously one of the things about being relentless is you put so much pressure on college pitchers, college pins, and college defenses. When you have an offense that is lengthened the way that Florida State's is, and they have the kind of at-bats, and there's power in those
bats. They don't put pressure on teams like the old good Mike Martin Jr. teams did because they would wait you out. Like, if you make a mistake on the first pitch, they are hacking at it. And I think that's a different kind of pressure when you get on the mound. Like, I better not just throw a first pitch cookie right here, or he's going to hit it off the screen and then start barking at me as soon as he hits it. This team is a different bunch.
There's a universality to the barking that goes on now in college baseball. I'm glad it's not just us. Early in the year, I was like, "Ooh, I'm glad we're good, but damn, man." But it's every college baseball game I watch.
Well, and you expect it in FSU Miami. We've seen plenty of situations through the years where
it's too much for them to take out, or they couldn't handle it.
But even after they got beat the first game, the second game, right off the bat, their 3-hole hitter hits a bomb, and he's shushing the crowd. And it's like, you lost yesterday, and you've lost 4 straight games,
and you're about to lose today. You don't know it yet, but you're about to. And
you can hit all the home runs you want, big man.
Yeah, it's kind of a pretty. It's a silly maneuver, but then to be upset about getting beat after you initiate that. Come on, man.
It's you remember when Brian McCann had like two stretches within 3 weeks where he looked like he was the policeman of baseball.
Trying to police Jose Fernandez, who hit a home run.
Fernandez, the first one that you could kind of you could get on McCann about that. The second one was this guy for the Brewers, Gomez, leads off with a home run, and as soon as he hits it, he just starts screaming at Paul Maholm.
Yeah.
Isn't that his name?
Yeah.
the whole way around the bases, screaming at him, cussing at him, screaming at him. It was so over the top that it would have been weird if he didn't do anything.
Right.
And so in that instance, it's like, I don't know why Dingus was mad at the Miami second baseman, but he made a point to yell at the second baseman as he's rounding first. And, a team is going to respond to that. The shortstop walked up to him. The first baseman started walking towards home. And it's like, well, that's kind of what's going to happen. It's part of the deal now.
The one thing I would say, though,
baseball.
And we had this conversation, man, it's probably been 15 years ago. It was mid 2000s when the ACC tournament used to be over in Jacksonville. So I guess it's 15, 20 years ago.
Buster.
Around that
Buster's
time
last year.
And I remember Georgia Tech's team was really mouthy. And
I forgot about that. Right? Yeah, we did have that conversation.
We talked about it, but the reality was, like, Georgia Tech's dudes were bigger. Like, they had big, strong dudes. And, like, I don't know that Florida State at the time had a whole lot of dudes. I don't know. I can't remember exactly the roster, but it just felt like Florida State didn't have those big, strong dudes. Like, if something went down, you didn't feel great about Florida State.
Well, and I think
this group's a little different.
Tyler Holt was feisty.
Yes.
But I don't know what he's got for 6'5", 250.
That was the funny part was I was trying to couch it in a way that wasn't so offensive to those young men playing for Florida State. Well, I asked you, I was like, well, I'm tired of everybody just yelling at our guys, but then realizing we're not equipped to do anything about it. This is a bunch of big dudes now. That ain't happening.
And even Marco isn't like a 6'5" kid, but I mean, obviously he is put together, and he clearly doesn't mind confrontation.
Look at the leap that kid has made, by the way, year over year, though. Going back to if what you thought you were getting when he transferred in was not.
I mean, this is crazy. He's been one of the best hitters in the conference.
Yeah.
And then, and I don't even think they haven't gotten exactly what they wanted out of Lodis and Farrow, but they've still been very good, and they've been good defensively. And then the Fisher kid, I mean, they got some pieces. And if they did get in a fight, not only do they have, and I mean, I assume it's coming. I mean, this is the way that college baseball is. It's crazy. It doesn't happen every weekend. Not only do they have big kids like Cantu and Cam Smith and those guys, there's like 50 of them in the dugout.
Right.
They would swarm the other team. There's just too many of them to keep up with.
The Cam Smith thing was, we texted right after that. Like, I've never seen him, the way he reacted when his double that he thought was out,
and then stared it down. Yeah.
But then his home run, I mean, he's like dancing. I mean, the emotions were so high. I mean, I get it. I mean, they got swept last year in Miami. They probably heard all kinds of stuff last year when they were down there, but a lot of these guys weren't even on that team. It's weird how there was so much hostility in this.
But I think, do you think it feeds them? Like, it started the very first inning against Butler. Old Cam Leiter struck out a kid and started screaming, and you're like, okay, it's a different team. And it is a different kind of, he's not Tom Glavine stone-faced walking off the mound. And I feel like it might be something that drives them. It gives them energy a little bit.
The only thing I would note is that, I mean, there is a line. You can cross it. You can be made to look bad.
I don't know that there are lines anymore, Jeff.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe that's where they're at. I know Link Jarrett, and he's, a modest guy, an intense competitor, but not a.
I don't think he loves this. I mean, he basically said he doesn't love it.
I don't think he loves it, but he understands where we're at. Yeah, I mean, that's.
Well, and you can't
he encountered it in Tennessee when he did the Lord's work by beating them.
And the key is you got to keep your wits about you. Like, you
and if
can't
they
let
didn't,
it get out.
that's it. You nailed it. Because here's the deal: they show up big in big situations. They've been locked in. Whenever they've faced adversity, they have bounced back, and they've shown the kind of focus and intensity necessary to bounce back from adversity. So it's not like it distracts them from the job at hand.
Right. Yeah.
Who do you think was the first player to hit a double and have a celebration for the double? Because I saw Tibbs. Tibbs, I think, throws like something in the air and shoots it. Brady's team has them.
Nia Porte used to do the
he'd chug a beer, chug a beer,
which I also love.
Like
that was because that was so him.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
But I mean, that's something you got to really think about, especially if you're a guy that hits a lot of them. You want to have something cool. I haven't thought of mine yet, but I got an hour. I got an hour and a half left. I'm going to think of a great double celebration where you stand on second.
It's got to have a lot of riz.
Correct. It's not going to be cringe or mid.
You seem like you'd be a hip thrust guy. Like, I just feel
the hip thrust is for
universal.
Pop out
always
I'll
great.
do that for a pop out to second. I'm
you
hip
do the hands
thrusting,
too. You do the hands as well.
But who do I do it to? The dugout, the pitcher, my own dugout.
You can't do it to your own.
Maybe
dugout.
all four corners, third, center field,
right field, left field.
Like you're entering a ring. You go to each corner. You get some too. I'm gonna stand up on this one. You get some. Oh, you get some of this right here.
It'd be funny if you called timeout. They always call timeout because they got to take off everything. You just call timeout. Don't take off anything just to do the hip thrust all around the park.
Humps like the first time they grant it, and then you started under.
It's like, son, what?
Okay. No, not time. I got 4 quarters to get to here.
You gave me time.
Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio Warchant TV continues in a moment.
To all teachers who lost supplies or personal property in the flooding. He said the district is prepared for these kind of situations. Leon County Schools announced Sunday that despite flooding affecting Godby's campus, the school passed all necessary requirements and was able to reopen to staff and students Monday. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Frobley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. 85 this afternoon under partly cloudy skies. Southerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies again tonight, 61. High temperatures reach up to 84 tomorrow. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Partly cloudy skies and dry Thursday and Friday with highs in the upper 80s. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, it's 79 degrees.
See Nice Tire and Auto Service at 4792 Bluntstown Highway today. The ASC trained technicians at Nice take the guesswork out of fixing your car. That's why wherever you see the Goodyear sign, you'll find what you want in tires and service. From preventative maintenance to a major overhaul and everything in between, you name it. Plus, Nice's services are backed by a nationwide limited warranty. Stop by Nice Tire and Auto Service. 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
Have you been injured on I-10? I'm Dana Brooks of Facing Brooks Law Offices. We partnered with Roadproof to access all interstate traffic camera footage along I-10 from Pensacola to Jacksonville. Memories fade and witnesses disappear. Securing important video footage now can make sure your claim receives the full attention it deserves. Call us today and let us secure the proof you need to come back stronger. Facing Brooks, 850-777-7777. Offices Destin, Tallahassee, and Jacksonville.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Rolling on. Seminole Headlines, as the man said. Corey, Ira, Jeff, you guys, all that. We're rolling.
In the chat, Dave Doherty brings up Oxford doing the victory. The Johnny Drama victory.
Yeah.
When he came off, that was pretty awesome.
It was pretty funny.
That was fantastic.
And then acknowledged it later on, right? Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah.
That was excellent. This team's got, again, man, there's some personality to this team. Not only are they really good, but there's some personality to them, which should be fun, again, if they really can do it, go into the postseason, make some noise in the postseason. I think they're going to be a fun team to cover.
It'll be, to me, and we got a stretch here where you get tested again severely, which is nice because the ACC is good in baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, NC State's good. Duke is good. North Carolina's good.
Wake.
Virginia, Wake, Florida State, Clemson, all good. So there's still plenty of opportunities to have them tested, which is important. I've always thought you should load your schedule. I mean, obviously conference games are conference games, but I used to love it back in the day when you had an Arizona State come in or something like that because to me, it does you no good not to play a meaty schedule and prepare yourself for the postseason against really good stuff. So, I mean, I'd rather you go 37 and 20-something and be tested big time than win 45. I'm not taking shots at the previous regime. I'm just saying it does you much more good to be facing top-tier pitching throughout the course of the year as opposed to just getting fat on average ass teams, but they have done things that good teams do, which is beat everybody they're supposed to beat and then go beyond that. I mean, they've owned all the midweek games, and they've owned the state of Florida. This is incredible.
And they can win different ways. They won a game 1-0 in a midweek game. They obviously beat Florida 19-4. The offense wasn't incredible against Miami. I say that they scored 23 runs
and something
they averaged like 7 runs a game, but for them that's below their average. They still found a way to win.
Yeah, and Link actually talked about the fact that Miami has some good arms, and so it wasn't like you were just going to go have an 8-run inning. They used their pen pretty effectively. They had a lot of different guys for matchups, so it wasn't Florida State never really kind of just exploded offensively, but they again relentless. I mean, it's just a very good offense, and then the defense continues to be good. That double play that the freshman in Lodi's turn was phenomenal.
Yeah, on Saturday, yeah.
So they're playing really good.
The transfer portal is open. We touched on it to start the show. We're obviously going to monitor just like everybody else is. I think the fear for people who are paranoid, and I think every fan is paranoid.
By the way, Sam McCall, not to interrupt you, but Sam McCall is back in the portal.
Yeah.
Shocking. But the thing of it is every fan base is rightfully nervous because kids can come and go as they please these days, and there's nothing restricting them from doing that. But there was also this fear going into today that this was going to be just madness. There were going to be people leaving big-time names from big-time programs, leaving every which way to Sunday. Doesn't look like so far.
Right.
We're seeing that necessarily.
Well, we're 1 day into it, but yeah.
I think it goes to May 2nd.
Right. 2 weeks, Hira?
May 2nd, I think it is.
April 30th, it'll end.
Okay.
And
so 2 weeks.
Yeah, so it's basically 2 weeks. And there's, as you said, there's familiar names. There's I'm just seeing now that I think Ayobami Tafasi, who was at Florida State, transferred to Georgia Tech in the spring. Now he's back in. Who's the other?
Is he coming back?
No, I don't think so.
I doubt that's going to happen.
But obviously the Rodney Hill's back in. I mean,
is he coming back?
I don't think so. But you're seeing a lot of the some of these guys who are in 3 or 4 schools over the period of 6 or 7 months.
Addicted to the drama.
They are, man.
They can't help it. They want to be wanted.
They don't even want to play. They just want to be in the portal.
Or just not realizing that sometimes it's not everybody else's fault.
Yeah, I remember I had a
bad
guy
advice
I worked
too,
with.
man.
A guy I worked with, and every time we'd go to lunch, he'd kind of complain about the service, and he's like, "I just don't understand." I'm like, "At some point, my brother, not all these restaurants are terrible."
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, again,
he hasn't gone out with me.
Again, though, I think you could use that example. I think you could use that example. Maybe take it to heart.
Take it to heart. My family was in the restaurant business, and I have high standards.
I've never seen you be whiny towards wait
I'm not
staff.
Whiny to the wait staff, but I will
always
complain about him.
He says he'll complain to us about him afterwards. He's not bad in the moment typically.
And I'll tip him.
Yeah,
but I know what it should look like.
Oh, and that's fair.
And if you're hanging out in the corner smoking a cigarette or talking or whatever, like that's not. You're supposed to be working.
Damn delinquent kids.
Yes. Well, no, that's not with kids. Just lazy people.
Get on them, Ira.
But it's the thing, if
my mom was a waitress, man, so I know what it's supposed to look like.
Of course.
And it's just
if you go through your day and you meet no a-holes or just one, well, you met an a-hole. But if you go through your day and you just keep constantly running into a-holes,
you're the one.
You're the a-hole.
Yeah, you're the.
That's how that works.
Or you live in a city with bad service.
Well, no, I'm not talking about you, buddy. You're not an a-hole.
No, for sure. That's when you see with some of the stuff with the portal, and I think again, this is where Norvell and his staff have been very good at identifying guys because that was the big question when the portal started, and like the question was who's going to really take these guys? Why are they leaving? What are they running away from? And Norvell and his staff have done a really good job of figuring out, okay, what was it their fault? Was it the school's fault? Or if it was, maybe there's something they didn't do right, but maybe there's a way they're owning up to that now and they want a fresh start, or figuring out the motivations, because you can't just take guys blindly, because a lot of these guys do tantalize with their athletic ability. You mentioned Sam McCall. Sam McCall, it was not going well for him here. He didn't like how it was taking time for him to get on the field. So he goes to A&M. Same issues there. Now he's in the portal again.
Yeah, but it's even different than that with somebody like McCall. And I'm not trying to kill the kid, but he entered the portal publicly.
And then
the day
out.
after the Miami win, where they beat him 45-3, the biggest win in Norvell's career, you have a player, because he didn't play, 2 days later is entering the portal. And it's like, well, maybe that says a lot more about who you are and the advice you're getting and the people to take that moment to say all about you. And here you are again, man. Now you're looking for a third school because you have not stuck on it. Two really good, one really good football program and another one that pays a lot of money to coaches. and you couldn't fit at either one of them.
I think there's a couple of things here. You see immaturity. That's going to happen when you got kids in college football. And then I think the other thing you see is really bad advice. And I think that's the area where I think as this thing progresses and it's the norm, the transfer portal is going to exist. We understand that. Even if some regulations are put upon it, it's going to exist. I think you see the need for professional representation and or somebody certainly able to kind of check. Because I think it's unfortunate when you have a kid who gets bad advice and it's not even a real agent. It's like an uncle or a pseudo whatever. It could even be a parent who's got misguided views of what's out there for them. And the next thing you know, you're telling a kid and the kid's going to want to listen to his dad or his uncle or his mother or whatever. And once that process starts and then you get disillusioned and realize it's not what you were told it was going to be, and you've maybe perhaps burned bridges here or anywhere for that matter, well, now you're going to be perpetually in a mode of seeking. And I don't like it. I hate it for those guys. Listen, at some point you got to grow up. You got to be your own man. You're 18 years old, 19 years old, but man, that's tough when you watch that happen.
Do you think the people that have left this program through the portal are actually like a good advertisement? How their careers have panned out is a good teaching tool for Norvell to use the other guys that are on the fence, because man, Malik McClain did jack squat at Penn State.
He got hurt, but yes.
But he was, I mean, I don't know. He was he was also at Penn State where they throw the ball. Do they ever throw the ball downfield? No. And you look at obviously Sam McCall, you look at Tafasi and Rodney Hill, who are already back in the portal again. It's like, man, that grass is hardly ever greener.
Well,
when you're at Florida State and you're a freshman or a sophomore and you've got a chance to play later on in your career, the grass is hard. It's hard to get greener.
Well, and I think that's being more established with each passing day, right? It wasn't in the case of all these kids. Like, they just got good.
So when those guys,
Corey Durden, we don't judge. He left.
I'm just saying it's going to be easier to use this as an example.
Yes. But like when those guys went to Colorado last summer or last spring, there were players on the team who were kind of jealous. Like they kind of wanted to go also because there was so much hype about Dion,
right?
And because they were going to get paid and like it was going to be this great opportunity out of Colorado. And then as the year went on out there, those kids were miserable. Bishop Thomas has already been kicked off the team. Derek McClendon didn't do much at all. He did less than he probably would have done if he had stayed at Florida State, even with Gilbert Edmond coming in. Travis Jay didn't do anything. Brendan Ginn didn't do anything. And so
they gave up touchdowns.
Well, they did do that.
Lots of them.
But so so towards the end of that year, Derek McClendon was coming to FSU events. Like I think he came to a game on their bye week. So, I think there are those lessons as they go on. And so guys will learn from that. Like other players will say, you know what, this sounds appealing, but it may not be what I think it is. The other issue is sometimes they get promised, and they get
lied to a lot.
Exactly. That's the crappy thing about this is there are schools or collectives or people. I mean, shoot, the kid that was promised $13 million at Florida.
It was never going to happen.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
So
there are these things that
playing for Dillingham now, right? Dilly out.
He's at Arizona State. Yeah. So you have these situations where kids, and there's no recourse. It's not like they're to your point, the professionalism in the NFL, agents have to go through a process to be authorized. They have to be vetted, and if they act,
most of them are attorneys.
Yeah. And this is completely different. So if a kid gets screwed, the kid just.
And I don't want it to sound like I'm being not a hypochondriac. Good grief, hypocrite. Yeah, I'm definitely not a hypochondriac.
Very different things.
Yes, completely different things. They start with the same letter, though.
I'm glad you got that part.
H. So that's about it. That's where because it sounds like maybe we're judging kids for leaving Florida State, or I am. When I don't, Florida State's made its bones by getting kids out of the portal. But I just think when you look at Jared Verse was different. He left Albany. Braden Fisk was looking for big time football from Western Michigan. Jalen Lucas was leaving the craziest coach that's ever coached college football, Siggs at Indiana. Other than maybe in the other guys left Alabama, they left a coach. So other than Jalen Brown at LSU, who was a freshman that didn't like his playing time, that wanted to go somewhere else. All the other ones are different kind of transfers than, like a Tafasi. That's like, man, you wait your turn. Sam McCall, wait your turn. There's no reason you should expect to play.
Well,
you're not a Zarie, and there's no reason you should expect to play right away and to leave to go chase something that you might not ever get when if you just develop here.
Yeah, but you understand that as a 40-something-year-old man, right? And I understand
just
that as a
40.
You're 48?
40, whatever.
Okay.
It's a number. It's an age. It's a number.
So we understand that. This is where I say I'm sad where they don't have somebody speaking reasonably in their ear about, look, man, doesn't it seem odd that Florida State's refusing They liked you. They recruited you. They brought you in, and you have an NIL deal, and now you want to quadruple that. And this other program's telling you that they're going to do that for you. Seems like that's probably not true. Let's investigate this a little bit more. You want somebody to pump the brakes for them and say, you realize once you do this, you're in trouble if it's not real.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point, and we also need to remember this from a player frustration standpoint, that when I was 24 years old, I left a job because I felt underappreciated.
Right.
Like I felt like
they screwed you. I've heard this story.
They really didn't. But that's how I felt.
Right.
And then without going to them and talking about it and trying to figure out, why are they doing what they're doing, I just got mad. And then when I turned to my resignation and was so happy about it, and then they were like, wait a minute, we can fix this. And they kind of went through all the things they could do to fix my situation, but I never gave them a chance to do that because I had already taken another job. So that my point is, now I was 24. Imagine being 18 or 19.
That's why
and being frustrated because you think, hey, I need to be on the field.
When you need real representation and you need somebody who understands the landscape. And because it was new, because it was the wild, wild west, because there was no regulatory body on this, the NCAA didn't have a say, because everybody was just kind of like, well, I guess this is the way it is. Man, there are a lot of bad actors in that space.
Yes.
A lot of people promising kids $13 million, $9 million.
I want to say that almost the majority are bad actors.
The good news, and I mean this is not just a pimping of something local and something that is involved with Florida State, and I'm biased in that way, is Florida State got very fortunate that the right group of people came together to form the Battles Inn. There are other good collectives out there. I'm not saying they're the only one, but they've been consistent. They've been solid. They understood the difference between these over-the-top promises and things that you could actually deliver on. Right. And over time, to your point, Corey, is that what you get is more and more mounting evidence that this is more the way it should be than these crazy promises that you've seen fail at other places. And with every one of these kids that leaves and pursues this other thing and it didn't work out and it, burns to the ground, then the better FSU looks. And it'll get a lot easier to walk into that kid who's frustrated that you're talking about and say, hey, take a look at the track record. We're not screwing people here. And, oh, by the way, all these guys that thought we were that left out of impatience or frustration or wanting more money, it hasn't exactly worked out.
And maybe Sam McCall just can't play. Who knows? Or maybe he'd be getting ready to be the starting safety at Florida State as a redshirt sophomore.
Right.
As opposed, he's looking for his third school. And he's not going to be nearly appealing now. What are you putting your hand up for?
You got to get used to the new world, guys.
I thought that was 1 second. Is that 1 minute?
If it was 1 second, I'd have turned your mic off.
So can you count down from 10?
I'm not going to do that while talking and listening to points, but this is the new world, guys. I got you.
So now we're probably at about 34 seconds.
We're actually at 44.
Oh, okay. I was close. Right in the range there. All right.
Yeah, I think. And then
I will get the final say on this before I hit this thing.
There are also the other part of the portal that is healthy, because I don't want to make it sound like we're saying that every kid that leaves Florida State and goes in the portal is making a terrible decision and or has done something stupid for their life.
Right, of course.
Sometimes it's the best decision.
Tate Rodemaker, go play quarterback in college, man. Go get a chance to go play quarterback in college.
Play at Southern Miss. And there's been guys, the offensive lineman from Madison that went down to USF, and he's playing.
There are times when it works out. Absolutely. All right, hour number 2, headliner questions coming your way. Oh, I didn't let you get that last one in, buddy. We just don't have the time for it. This is a hard out, and I'm going to hit it right now.
Mall.
We're all spending more time at home than we ever have.
And our yards have become more than something we look at through the window. They are now a major part of our refuge.
Now that we're outside more, wouldn't it be great if we could eliminate the things that make us want to run back inside? Pests like mosquitoes and fire ants.
Paul's Pest Control can do just that, and will do it for a surprisingly low cost.
Our treatments are done outside. There is never a reason to enter your home.
The weather is beautiful, and now is the time to be outside.
Paul's Termite and Pest Control will help you take your yard back.
Call us for a free consultation.
I'm Greg Tisch, here to share one of my favorite TCC stories. In the summer of 1966, Eugene Lamb wanted to stay in shape before leaving to play college basketball in Louisiana. So he jogged to Tallahassee from his home in Midway and helped lay the bricks for the first building on what's now the TCC campus on Appleyard Drive. Today, he is a longtime member of the TCC District Board of Trustees. It's no exaggeration when we say Trustee Lamb helped build TCC into what it is today.
TCC thanks our community for 58 years of support. We look forward to moving into the future together.
Hey, let me tell you about my friends at Tried and True Consulting, a Seminole-owned business that specializes in payments and business solutions. Tried and True's core expertise includes card, ACH, point of sale, mobile, e-commerce, and hosted payment solutions. Tried and True will help you reduce costs and increase your bottom line. That always sounds nice. Whether you're a retailer, restaurant, licensed professional, or service industry, Tried and True is saving you money. Tried and True's expertise extends to payroll, video menu ad boards, IT services, web design, and social media. It's time to make one call and tell the competition to take it on down the road. Call Don or Joe today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. When you do business with Tried and True, they contribute 10% of the net revenue to the battle's end. So go Tried and True today. Call 844-464-6653.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee. The latest betting odds and line movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
NBA play-in game coming up tomorrow in Chicago. The Atlanta Hawks are a 3-point underdog against the Chicago Bulls. 220.5 the total. The winner will play the loser of the Miami-Philadelphia matchup. And the winner of that one will get number 1 Boston in the first round. Orlando Magic at Cleveland for their first round matchup Saturday. The Cavaliers are the 4.5-point favorite, total 207.5. Braves another 22 road favorite of the Houston Astros today, 10 flat at Minute Maid Park. While the Tampa Bay Rays are a home favorite against the Angels today. Aaron Savali for the Rays, another 55 favorite. The total 8 over at Tropicana Field. Free betting splits available at vsin.com/splits. For more sports betting news and information, go to vsin.com. Mike Son at Real Talk 93.3.
If you need bold banners to boost your business, but you're on a budget, think Staples. Posters, flyers, signs, and menus for less? Think Staples. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward. Now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Same-day service available on hundreds of items if you order by noon. And all backed by Staples' Print Perfect guarantee. So it's done right or it's printed again free. Staples, your local print and marketing expert. N61, visit staples.com/print for details.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
Social Kitchen is now open on Cary Forest Parkway near Ology Northside, Tallahassee's only premier market where you can receive the famed Snake River Farm steaks and premier meats. Social Kitchen also has chef-prepared meals and sides ready to serve in just under 20 minutes. Perfect for those very busy springtime weeks, weekends, you name it. Hosting some people at the house. Hey, Social Kitchen also has build-your-own charcuterie boards and catering. Stop in and visit Social Kitchen today or visit us online at socialkitchentlh.com. socialkitchentlh.com.
Hey folks, it's me, Mac and More, spokesperson for Tallahassee's favorite Apple and Mac product store, Mac and More. We all know what Mac is all about. It's your MacBooks, iMacs, Apple Watch, iPhones, iPads, we've all got them. But what's really cool is the and more. And there's a lot more at Mac and More. They can help set up your new gear, migrate and back up your data, teach you new tricks and how to use everything better. And if something costs too much to fix, they'll tell you the truth. There's a lot more at Mac and More. See for yourself at macandmoresystems.com. Or you can take it from me, Mr. Mac and More.
Have you been injured on Interstate 10? I'm Jimmy Fasig of Fasig Brooks Law Offices. We've partnered with Roadproof to access all interstate traffic cameras along I-10 from Pensacola to Jacksonville. Let us help you get the proof you need to stand up for yourself and get fair compensation for your injuries. Call us today and let us secure the proof you need to come back stronger. Fasig Brooks, 850-777-7777, offices Destin, Tallahassee, and Jacksonville.
What will the Noles do to follow up an unconquered 2023? Warchant.com, the market leader in FSU football and sports coverage, is the place to find out. Join the largest FSU fan community and talk Seminole sports in Warchant's Travel Council and premium recruiting message board forum. Enjoy cutting-edge team coverage led by managing editor Ira Schofel and lead writer Corey Clark, and inside scoops on the transfer portal and recruiting classes with Michael Langston and Matt Lassere. Backed by the best national recruiting network in On3, there's no debate. Warchant.com's your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
It's time for Seminole Headlines, featuring Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron, managing editor Ira Schofel, and senior writer Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, pistols, and pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
Hour number 2, Seminole Headlines, 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Headliner questions coming your way. First, though, we say a wholehearted, full-throated thank you to Dr. Birch and Birch Orthodontics, whom I will see tomorrow.
Maybe she'll come to the meet and greet or to the Battles in Roundtable.
Maybe could come to both. I invited her to the golf tournament last week. It was kind of a late invitation. It was
little
kind of
no-show from Dr. Birch, huh?
Can't blame her.
What are we doing
Can't
there?
blame her. It was
Okay.
a late invitation.
Well, I'll take it up with her tomorrow.
I
when
told
see
her next time we'll make a formal invitation.
Nice.
And further in advance.
You know who did get mad at me? And, it always sounds like a bit of a name drop, but it's not. You guys already know this. But he wants to play, and next year he might even play with you guys. William Floyd got very angry with me. He sent me a lengthy text that said, "Teammate, where am I? Where am I? I can't play on your team. I can't play with you." And I said, "All right, man, I'm sorry. I didn't think you were going to drive over from Orlando. I didn't think you'd do that."
And you're already trying to push him over to our team. You can't be on your team.
He can be on my team. I mean, it's costly, but people pay big money to be on this team. So I think it's probably free to be on your team.
We haven't started charging people.
Yeah, you guys are missing out on the opportunity. I'll give you William's number. You call him and say you want $100 for each of you for him to be able to play.
Yeah, that seems fair.
Seems reasonable, right?
What do you think we can get out of Aslan?
Good point.
All right, so Birch Orthodontics, best in the business by far. And I'm hoping to get good news, Dr. Birch, tomorrow. Just let me know that those rubber bands are working well and that Clark is this close to being out of braces. That's the hope.
And that's the message, guys. The teeth aren't going to get better on their own.
No, they're not.
Nope.
So if your kid's got snaggletooth issues, you need to get them in, get the process started. Sometimes it's like a year and a half, and sometimes it's 2 years. Sometimes it takes a little longer, but they'll do great work, handle difficult cases, and they're just awesome people. And they'll talk about the Noles with you and talk about music. Really, anything you want to talk about, Dr. Birch is more than happy
Religion,
to.
politics.
Especially those two things right out the gates,
sure.
early in the morning when you go in.
I think there's a sign on the door that says all conversations about religion and politics.
Well, you have to declare before you walk in. Right. You have to let them know. Oh, it's Jerry. I'm Jesuit. That's kind of how it works. But that's just an icebreaker.
The website is birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com. Set up a free consultation, and you will not be disappointed.
Perkins, which makes me think of Tiger Woods, writes, good morning, gentlemen. After Taylor Swift asked about Miami sharing a time slot with Batwoman on the CW, it got me thinking, when the Canes inevitably underperform and go 8-4, can we collectively agree that Mario could make up the role of the Penguin in order to have sorry, I'm just thinking about Mario as the Penguin, in order to have another season on CW? Miami, this is part of a larger question that's actually kind of fun. What are they going to do? It's been bizarre to watch this sort of play out and have their athletic director, who was famously at Clemson, basically tell everybody, we're cool being in the ACC.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think I still go back to the idea that maybe they didn't know if they had a place to go, so they wanted to make sure that the ACC is.
They're not going to get kicked out. Yeah. The ACC is not going to be like, hey, listen, you didn't.
No, I agree, but kind of.
But you don't
represent strength.
You don't think they've given up like competing nationally again, do you?
No, I think it's.
They could. You would it would make sense if they had. It's been so long, but yeah, I mean, I think they feel like they can still do it.
Yeah, you wouldn't have hired Mario at $8 million over $80 million.
But they think in 2031 they're going to be rolling in enough money to compete with the SEC and the Big Ten? Like they need to be suing too.
No, I think that they maybe think that they're going to be on the second boats over. Like, they're
not first class.
Florida State, Clemson.
They're the Nina or the Pinta.
Yeah, exactly.
Not the Santa Maria.
Afterwards.
I guess they all kind of went together. Yeah, the Santa Maria was the one that Columbus was on, though. I'm pretty sure when he famously discovered America and knew exactly where he was when he landed.
All of it.
Yeah.
Just Jeffrey writes, do you think with limited size we have at wide receiver right now that Elijah Moore, who seems to be big enough already, could have an immediate impact in battle for real reps this year, even with being a summer enrollment? That's a good. I like that question
for sure. Yeah, he's a big kid, big target.
I'm excited about him actually.
Yeah, he was kind of a little bit under the radar, like because I think he doesn't play in Florida. He's a guy that a lot of people haven't seen. He's from Maryland, the DC area, but he's a big talented kid, and it's definitely possible. And receiver's a position where you could come in and play. It's not like you have to learn.
We've seen a little bit of it with McCoy and guys like that, right?
And also would say there's been nobody of those like outside guys. We've already talked about Ja'Kai that have separated themselves enough where you're like, oh yeah, a true freshman has no chance to compete with that. Like I think Malik's been good. I think Malik's probably been the best, most consistent receiver of the bunch. But him, Portier, Williamson, none of them are such an echelon that some true freshman that's if he's really talented. Can't not get on the field.
That is a position where that can happen. Corey writes, can anyone really explain what happened at the end of that game on Saturday? I was in the stands. Honestly, really don't know, and everything I read seems to be different. Thanks. Corey, spelled correctly, he writes.
With an E.
With no E.
That's crazy.
He wants you to know.
It looks like an acronym.
You to know.
If you don't have an E in there, it's an acronym for something.
All right.
CORY, that's like a youth group. I would say, so here's what happened. Cause I clocked it because I watched Marco's a little different in the batter's box. On Thursday night, he had to duck out of the way of the pitch and then took 5 steps towards the mound. Not even like in a threatening way, just decided to walking it off in front of the batter's box. So
there's nothing wrong with that. I've seen people do that.
The whole Miami dugout started screaming at him with good reason.
Because they thought maybe he was going to.
Yeah. I mean, he tried to intimidate the pitcher by walking out towards him. And then on Saturday, one of his at-bats, he walked and just stared at the pitcher while he's taking off his stuff and walking down. So when he hits a home run,
I think there's some badgering
also because he had hit a grand slam against Florida and just stared it down for 5 seconds.
Which was awesome.
It was great.
And if you hit a grand slam against Florida, you can actually unbuckle.
So I'm always looking at the reactions of the people. And I saw the first baseman immediately start yelling at him because I saw Dingus doing this with his finger, and that's what happened. So they saw him yelling at the second baseman. I don't know if they could even hear what he was yelling because it was loud. He just hit a home run. But they saw him yelling, and that's what started.
But you don't know the origins of the disdain.
I don't know why he was so mad at the second baseman.
It was specifically with the second baseman because he didn't say anything to the first baseman.
Right.
No. Now, the first base was very big.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was that. I don't think it was that. And it wasn't saying to the pitcher. It's like the second baseman had talked smack to him at some point.
Well, I think there had been a
So I have no idea what the second baseman had said to him, but he had something to say to the second baseman, which the shortstop heard. And then I watched the first. Nobody else saw the first baseman because they were all celebrating at home plate. But he was walking down the line to try to get there. The umpire stopped him. The Miami coaching staff came out. And then as the Florida State players are done doing their celebration, they get back in the dugout. They see him still chirping. And so they all rush over to that edge of the dugout, and that's when he ended up getting thrown out.
Man, you pulled an Irish Chappelle.
I was talking, man.
He was binoculars in this
buddy,
thing.
I was like, if I could get to see an old school FSU Miami brawl.
Well, he was texting us during the game. He's like, I'm definitely getting video of the post-game handshake.
Yeah, and they didn't have one.
Happen.
They didn't have one.
Both sides agreed it was probably not a good idea.
Probably smart. Yeah, probably smart on the coaches.
I'm telling you right now, if you had an old school Nick Stocks here or something like that, somebody's getting beamed. And I missed the days.
And I didn't see the kid throw the ball from left field.
Oh, I did.
I mean, I saw the replay of it, but I didn't see it when it happened. I didn't know what was going on there. But yeah, Miami didn't like coming in and getting swept.
They didn't like losing.
Yes,
they didn't like getting swept, yeah. Walter writes, hey, gents, which of these NCAA penalties will have the biggest impact on FSU football? A reduction of 5 scholarship, a reduction in recruiting communications for a total of 6 weeks, a reduction of 18 in-person recruiting days during spring 2024.
Yeah, I mean, I think none of it's great. And those are all the things out of the case where Florida State worked with the NCAA on their NIL scandal. And it was a little.
They should have shut down, excessive. Honestly. And I know this is a pro Florida State show, Ira, but they probably should have shut down the program.
Yeah, it feels like that was warranted.
That was ridiculous.
No, and
I wouldn't abide by any of these.
You just say no, we're not doing it.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Count our scholarships.
Well, I mean, I'd say, yeah, sure. Thanks for the penalty. And then I just keep on keeping on.
Compliance has to document things.
How would they know? Were they tracking your mileage?
I mean, take a look around the country, Ira.
When coaches go on recruiting visits.
But what if Mike is making a phone call? Who the hell's monitoring? Nobody's monitoring that phone call.
They don't have to turn in the documentation, Ira. They just choose to.
Yeah. Those are people who follow the rules, Ira, that you're talking about.
You're
talking about breaking the rules.
You're talking to a couple rule breakers.
Renegades.
Notorious.
There's no rules.
Anyhow, of those things, yeah, I think they can work around most of it. I think the 5 scholarships over 2 years isn't great. But even that, you can, they'll probably be at 83 this year, 82 this year, and 82.
Yeah, are they ever 85?
Yeah, I mean, but it's usually they end up rewarding a walk on with a scholarship or something like that. So none of it's a huge deal. It's inconvenient, but I don't think any of it's like a huge problem.
R.A. Andrews writes, gentlemen, Bobby, JF, and CMN, okay, Fisher and Coach Mike Norvell, all had undefeated 4th seasons. BB and JF followed with championship caliber teams repeating the prior bowl trip. Does that mean FSU is guaranteed at least the semifinals Orange Bowl trip and no flights for Corey?
No, doesn't guarantee that, but we do like where the program is. We feel like last year didn't feel like a fluke, a one-off.
No, we kind of predicted they'd be really, really good last year, and they were.
No, but I mean this year,
and I think they'll be really good again this year. And I've been
restocked the roster,
but I've been beating that drum since I saw who they were bringing in, and I think they're going to be really, really good again. The question is, do you beat Clemson at home to win the ACC? That's basically it.
Yeah. DJ's going to have it's going to be an interesting night for DJ.
Think that's going to be a night game to you?
Yeah, I do. I have a feeling. But yeah, it'll be an interesting night. Has there been a quarterback that played against his former team that had so many starts? This seems like because usually when you're a starting quarterback, you don't transfer at all. And he transferred, and now he probably has 20 starts on that program, 23 starts, and now he's playing against it. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be different. What's Ira looking at?
It is interesting. I didn't realize that. So Bobby Bowden's 4th year was 1979.
Yeah.
And
they lost to Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl.
The next year they went 10-2, but they had the same record in regular season. I guess they were 10-1 going to the bowl.
Yep.
And then
they blew the bowl game.
I still have the 1979 pennant. For the FSU Orange Bowl against Oklahoma.
Nice. Yeah. And then Jimbo 13-14 undefeated both years.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe it'll work out that way for
just
Norvell.
Keep on winning, Mike. Just like with those 13. I don't count the Georgia game, so this win streak is robust.
It's still, what is it, at 19 still, right?
It's just rolling on Big River. Garvin writes, hey, Garvin. We haven't had too many Garvins. Have we ever had a Garvin on the show?
I assume he's called Gar, like people call him Gar for short.
I'd make you say Garvin if my name was Garvin.
Oh,
you
the whole
wouldn't get away
thing.
with that Gar nonsense. You'd be calling me Garvin.
2 syllables.
Since FSU baseball is fun to talk about again, what would be your wish list for a new or renovated Hauser if money were no object? Thanks for all the great content. You guys are the best. Well, this is my favorite Garvin.
Yeah.
Off the bat.
That is your sweet spot.
Yeah, that's right in your sweet spot.
Right there, yeah.
I mean, I think we all agree over the intramural fields, right?
With an outfield section where there's seating.
Correct.
And
this is an easy question to answer. Make it like all the kick-ass stadiums in the SEC.
Now, is home plate facing out towards College Town? Or is home plate there facing the other way back towards
the outfield's got to be College Town, I think. Okay. That's got to be the backdrop is College Town.
Yeah, because if you're walking straight from those stands.
Yeah.
And you could hit a ball off like the Madison Social. That'd be a cool little thing that you did.
It'd be cool if you were drinking at Madso or eating whatever
and you got hit by a 400-foot.
No, but if you saw it coming in, hey, this is awesome.
And I think Matt just gives you free drinks.
If you catch that ball, you get a free drink.
Yeah.
Matt's going to hear
what if it hits you in the throat because you're on a date and you don't even know a baseball game?
You get hit in the throat, man. Pay attention to your surroundings.
Right. Well, you can't see. There's a fence.
No, but listen. Once they build the stadium, balls are coming.
And you'll hear the cheer, and you'll hear the
ping. Oh, that sounded loud.
That's coming. It's coming this way.
Heads up, everybody.
And we're talking about it hypothetically, but literally that is what they would love to do. I do think that that's what a lot of people at Florida State would like to do once they get this football facility and also the stadium renovation at Doak done. At some point, they may be able to do this.
Start getting that Big Ten money too. It'll be a lot quicker.
Austin writes, if registers sold hams and Boston butts, that'd be really cool. I feel like Jeff could be like the All Madden show and host his own registers all hams and butts team. Who's on the list for FSU for hams and butts? I always talk about, he's referencing the fact that I talk about asses being important.
Hams and butts.
The
hams,
biggest
I guess,
asses,
are thighs.
Yeah.
And
butts are butts.
I'm trying to think. This team doesn't. I don't know. I'm not.
So
nobody's popping out.
The Colorado State kid has an ass for days.
Grady Kelly, Daryl Jackson.
Well, Daryl's just a hoss. He's got hams and butts. He's everything. Yeah.
He's the old pig.
So Farmer, when he comes back fully healthy and ready to go to war with everybody, with hams or butts, what are we looking at? Is that butt?
Ferguson, Alabama
Cam
line,
Davis.
He's got some. Well, Cam Davis.
Those are hams.
Yeah, those are hams for days.
Yeah.
See, some grown men wouldn't feel comfortable talking about this.
But we are secure.
We are completely
all of us
secure.
We're
almost
too
too
secure.
secure.
We're not worried about anything.
We're so secure, we've kind of circled it, and now it makes us look insecure. We're so secure.
Corey's feeling rizzy.
Oh,
come on, Ira. I didn't like that at all. Nope.
I almost feel like breaking on that now. Kevin writes, which moment was more satisfying, curb stomping Florida on Tuesday or sweeping Miami after seeing two of their players get ejected and their team not even having the respect to shake hands? Oh, no, but they chose, Kevin, both sides chose not to shake hands.
I like his version better.
I do too. And also Miami, they didn't want to be there any longer. They'd already been swept. They were on a long losing streak. They're not the program Florida State is in really any sport anymore. It's frustrating for them to be here and see what greatness looks like. So I understand why they wouldn't shake hands.
And they may have to fire that coach because it's not going well.
Is this his second year? Third year?
I'm not sure if it's third.
He was there forever as their pitching coach.
Yeah.
Ortega. Yeah, JD. He was the JD at Miami when Florida State had their JD in Tallahassee.
Yeah, so but my favorite part probably
19-4,
19-4 because it never ended. It just kept
and it was a rubber 7 innings.
So and you guys were
only
both
batted 6 times.
And you guys were both there. I was not, unfortunately. I wish I had been there, but I had to go. I went home to work because it was night with the court and I had to go home and do a video. But watching the interview with O'Sullivan in the third or fourth inning was phenomenal.
I went back and watched it.
Did you really?
I did go back and watch.
They interviewed him in the middle of the game when they were down 14-2.
Yeah.
But this is one time where I don't envy the announcers because that's preordained.
What
They're going to do that interview. What are you supposed to say?
Can't you just skip it?
He actually did a good job.
He was fine. He never got really mad, but they were just like, yeah, this kind of wasn't really the way you drew it up.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, you got to give them credit. You just looked lost. You looked like, what are you supposed to say?
They got a good club, and they're swinging the bats pretty well.
I would hate that if I were doing play-by-play for a game, and they're like, now, listen, you're going to have Coach so-and-so on in the 5th inning or 4th inning, and it's like 22-0.
Can we just skip it?
Hey, Coach.
You think so?
22-0 action, huh?
O'Sullivan would be like, "Hey guys, it's the 4th inning. Where am I? I'm supposed to be talking to that guy, those guys upstairs. Where's my headset?
I don't want to stiff those guys.
Yeah. Where is it?
I'm sure they have important questions.
They better not have just punted on this. That's insulting.
Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV will continue in a moment.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
If you've been waiting for the perfect time to buy your new house, you'll be waiting forever. This is Shannon Young with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, and I have been a mortgage lender for over 20 years. And I can tell you that that there is no such thing as perfect timing. So take the first step towards your new home and let me show you what that really looks like. Chances are very high that you'll be very surprised at what I can help you do. When rates go low, prices go high, and that home that you've been eyeballing could be gone. If you're wondering how the drop in interest rates is going to affect your payment, give me a call. I'll be more than happy to show you all of the options available to get you into your new home. And for every single loan that we close for a fellow Nole, I will personally donate $250 per closing to the battle's end. Let's do this together and let's keep climbing. Call me today at 954-369-6171. That's 954-369-6171. Or you can find me online at loansfornoles.com. That's loansfornoles.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 373031.
You probably already know that Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas is your one-stop destination for all pool maintenance needs, offering everything you need from chemicals, cleaners, vacuums, nets, and more. But that's not all. Pinch a Penny also carries a huge selection of premium hot springs hot tubs paired with easy financing options, making these luxury hot tubs affordable for everyone. And if you have an older hot tub and you're worried about the hassle of removing it, worry no more. Pinch a Penny will not only remove and haul away your old hot tub, but also offer a trade-in value for a credit towards your new one. So why wait? Visit Pinch a Penny's 12,000 square foot showroom today on Greer Road and discover how effortless and affordable owning a fantastic hot tub can be. Find out more at TallahasseeHotSpring.com. That's TallahasseeHotSpring.com.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Let's keep it rolling, boys. Question from Facebook, Corey. This one is from Drew. He writes, gentlemen, let's turn your mics on. In honor of Dave Aranda, I appreciate you guys continuing to do this show. Nice. And Coach Speak when you can, a.k.a. keeping up with the Kim Mulkeans. My boy Braden is taking his fisky business to the NFL. I'm hoping that when his name is called, he slides onto the draft stage in only socks, a button-down, and some Ray-Bans while they blast a little Bob Seger throughout the auditorium. Since he'll be gone, the defensive line will be left with a void. Perhaps Darrell Jackson will change his number to 5, and the stadium can play the Jackson 5. Oh, he's trying to be Corey. This guy's trying to be Corey here.
What's going on?
Also, every time Patrick Payton swats a pass into the front row, they could play Naughty by Nature's classic, Who's Down with OPP, edited accordingly.
The OBB.
Can't make it this weekend, but hope to buy you boys a Guinness over in Ireland. That's all, FSU Drew.
Okay.
No
All
questions.
right,
No questions, but he just wants to buy us a beer over in Ireland.
Some quality work there. And I like the fisky business. The how high? Where do you think Braden? Do you think he
could sneak in late first? Probably not. Early second.
Probably second. He's actually not going to attend the draft. He's going to watch it back home. That was pretty cool. I thought that whole thing was pretty cool. He wants to watch it back home in Michigan City because that's where he's from, and he thinks kids look up to him there. And that's
he also didn't want to be the last guy in the green room.
Well, that too.
It's always
that's
a tough
side part. But.
Yeah, that's a toughie. Although, if I were getting drafted anywhere in the first 3 rounds, I'd never feel shame. I'd be like, screw you.
Being the last guy in the green room is still better than not being in any room. You know what I mean? They're going to call your name at some point.
So Brett wants to know, why was our series moved up a day just to get one game on the ACC network and not the whole series? This network just sucks. I'm not against some live women's softball every now and again or lacrosse or men's baseball, but Why waste airtime on useless spring football games? Show the replay at some odd hour when the 4 junkies that watch that crap have nothing better to do. I just don't get the live event scheduling on that station. It's terrible.
Do you have a choice? Could they have said no?
Man, I see they're suing them. So I assume you can say no to the ACC if you want.
We're throwing this in the lawsuit.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like.
And another thing.
Yeah. We're not playing on a Thursday night.
Because that's a big deal.
By the way, Link was pissed. When I talked to him last week, I did that interview with him last week. I thought it was interesting that he made it a point. He's like, well, it's a big week for us. Certainly that Florida game was better than any atmosphere we'd ever seen. And he went on and thanked the Chiefs and did all that. And he goes, and then, today's a huge recruiting day for us. And then we got to play tomorrow for TV purposes. And you can sense he was angry about that. And I would be too when you're missing 2 starters and it gets moved up for one game. That's weird.
And is it changing the financials for the ACC network to have baseball on Thursday night?
Of course not. They got so much lacrosse content. They're going to get like Florida State, Miami probably that gets more eyeballs than Boston College lacrosse, but it's not I think at some point you could be like, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. Baseball, especially, like we want to be in a routine.
Right.
We're used to Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All we've been doing this season is playing a Tuesday and then a Thursday, traveling and playing a Thursday. Like, no, we want to do.
And then that one week where they got rain delays, so they had to play a doubleheader on Saturday and then come back and play a short week.
It's like, man, no, we're going to not play on Thursday night.
This is kind of interesting. Justin was noting that Northwestern's building an $800 million football stadium. And it got me thinking, quote, when we get to the Power 2, what kind of upgrades will we add? Make the baseball stadium, of course, like an SEC-style environment, update the basketball stadium arena, bring in the ocean for the beach volleyball team, perhaps. We'll be drowning, which is funny. We'll be drowning in money. What should they do? He's not wrong. It is crazy. Northwestern sucks at just about everything, and they're building an $800 billion football stadium.
Well, already their football facility is
insane,
yeah.
right? Yeah, that was the last good thing Jim Phillips did, which was fundraise for that amongst the academia.
And you see how it turned them into a national power.
But it is beautiful to walk around and look at.
Absolutely. And then go commit to a school that you're actually going to win football games at.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know that there's going to be a whole lot of facility building as much as, maybe we've talked about Hauser, maybe do some things like that.
Bigger video board. By the way, I just got to get this out of the way. I keep meaning to say it. Kudos to the people at the baseball stadium for how the changes they made to the video board.
It's gotten better.
It's been great. They've done so much better with it.
We don't just see 2 years of bitching.
But we don't just see the big face of whoever's pitching.
Right.
There's real info up there, and I just wanted to say
I want it to be known that when Ira commits to something, Corey commits to something, a cause, if you will.
Right.
Or I do.
Right.
We've all impacted positively for Florida State fans everywhere the environment. The facilities, the way Florida State goes about things. Let's just give ourselves a pat on the back as a show for exacting change in areas that it needed to be changed. Corey's constant bitching about the scoreboard may have rubbed people raw after a while. It got old, but he was right to do it. My constant complaint about the shabby paint job of that scoreboard that did exist and the sorry-looking state of affairs at Hauser led to real change.
Ira got rid of Jimbo. We all had things we've contributed.
It just all worked out for the better. I just think we deserve a little pat on the back is all I'm saying. So individually and collectively.
Collectively, we have changed so many lives for the better. It's hard to even compute.
It's like Calipari coaching in Kentucky and doing all the things that he did just to better the kids' lives. Not for the money, not to win championships or the one.
We don't get paid for this. This is all about just the love of the game.
Exactly.
But anyway, what would you do? So now we have a platform with a lot of millions of dollars coming in. What are you adding to the football stadium?
They're already doing a lot.
Yeah, I don't know that's what I'm saying. The football stadium is going to be modernized. It's going to be in great shape. They're building a new football
Wi-Fi
facility.
better not suck though.
Do you have?
I do think baseball and softball, and then the Civic Center. Obviously, they do need to do.
I feel like softball's pretty good. Maybe some seating
but there's no way to do it there. They have to move.
Yeah, got to move.
And that's one of the things they've talked about is the idea of possibly putting Hauser where College Town is, what we talked about, and then putting a softball stadium where Hauser is now.
You could do
which
that.
Would be cool, and it would give them a chance to. Because the problem there is they sell all their seats, and there are a lot of people who'd like to come, but they can't sell more seats.
Would you have if you were doing football? Would you have a video board devoted solely to punting stats? Like that's all it is. When you want your punting stats,
you can just
know where to
there.
look. Yep. And you don't have to worry about it being on the big board where you're trying to find the down and distance.
Yeah.
Can't you just appreciate one victory at a time?
No, and I think they changed that the middle of last year because of my crazy bitching.
You got to stop. It stops at some point.
nobody else will call people out of how crazy it is that the first play of the game, they have punting stats on the video board.
I also didn't like for years and years and years and years, impossibly long periods of time, they had the wrong scores up in the wrong quarter.
Oh, yeah,
how is that possible? It's, you'd see 13-7 first quarter. I'm like, that game's been over for 2 hours. The final was 52-16. What are we doing? Like, I never understood that.
The score.
Yeah, it was just strange. I'm like, no, they come back and win. There's nothing to get excited about. It sucks.
Yeah,
I saw that before our game started. For some reason, it's stuck in the first quarter here.
They have modernized in a way, and when we sped that along, I think a little bit. We've expedited, but yeah. So I don't know what you do with the money. Just make it prettier, I guess. Pay the players more.
I just like the idea of having excess amounts of money
where
to
you
just
could literally
figure it
bring
out.
the ocean.
Like, we're just going to do something. Yeah, because we can. Really enjoy watching this baseball team. They bring a lot of passion and excitement to the game as opposed to past teams that kind of played like robots. That's according to Scott.
They do have passion.
That's what we call it.
Yes.
Why are both the baseball teams and softball teams on the road this weekend? Oh, this is the age-old question. This infuriates Tom Lang. He's been on this campaign forever. People don't understand why we can't have teams at home for the spring game weekend. Do you have an answer to that, Ira?
Basically, a big part of it is nobody at the athletic department feels like it's a big enough issue to tell the football coach, hey, this is when you have to do the spring game because this is when we need it because of the baseball schedule. Like Florida State doesn't get to choose their complete baseball schedule. That's done by the conference.
Intentional?
It's not an intentional decision to not have them coordinated, but there's not a coordinated effort to make it happen.
Well, I feel like they've lost the coin toss then 14 times in a row because they always seem to pick a date where they're on the road.
It's more because of what football wants. Football's deciding when they want the spring game based on when Mike Norvell and the staff want the spring game.
So if they were playing Miami this weekend,
it could happen. It's not like they have an edict to not do it.
Okay, well,
but they don't have a plan to. They don't have a need to do it.
I think they've only done it once since I've been on the beat. Once in 15 years.
And I know, like one time they did it. I think there was a Duke series in baseball.
Yeah, it was the Jameis.
And nobody went to it. Nobody went to the games. Nobody went to the baseball games.
Well, that's true.
So maybe
Jameis did after he threw for 3 touchdowns. He went and closed out one of the games.
But I guess my point is, they haven't seen any benefit when they did do it. There's no benefit to it, and football's going to do it when they want to do football.
Kevin writes, which moment was more? Oh, I already read that one. I apologize. King Sir is this guy's name, and he says, Jeff, you were starting to give tough loves towards the wide receiver room for too many drops at practice. My question is for Ira and Corey. Were these caused by elite defensive back play? And what is your opinion? Do you agree with Jeff? So I just so you know, I thought there was a stretch there where maybe 3 of the 4 practices that I had gone to, I missed the last one. They were dropping too many passes. That's all. It was a casual observation. A lot of drops. In fact, you and I commented together one day while we were watching.
One day they were just awful.
So there's been too many drops. And I'm sensitive to that. I'll point out some drops.
Right.
But he wants to know, from your all's opinion, was this great defensive back play or just inconsistencies?
No, because if it was great DB play, we wouldn't call them drops. They'd be PBUs. These were not passes that were broken. A couple of them, you're like, man, make that catch, even though there's a DB on you. I guess you could call that good DB play. But no, that was the problem. You would celebrate a good DB play. These were simply ran a nice route, got open, and just straight up dropped the ball.
Yeah, it might get better. I mean,
and it's not like that it's one person that's constantly doing it.
Right.
It has, sometimes it's contagious, sometimes lack of focus, whatever it is, but it's got to get better.
It's also, it goes back to what I've always said is like, I'd rather them be dropping the ball, get open and drop the ball than not even be able to get open. Like they've accomplished the first step, which is to get open. They've done that pretty well all spring. But, yeah, the drops have been a bit of an issue.
Patrick wants to know, baseball question, what do you all think is causing all the pitcher injuries in MLB and what can be done to mitigate them? It's a chase for speed and spin rate, Patrick.
Yeah,
it's been going on for some time.
They're all in the labs trying to
throw 100. You buy the pitch clock?
It's not the pitch clock. They were having these problems before.
I wonder a little bit.
In fact, somebody just came back and counter-argued that and said there were more pitching injuries the year before the pitch clock than there is this year, yeah. So I think it is this constant chase for speed. I mean, we've seen those crazy numbers where, what was it, 10 years ago, 4 people threw a pitch over 100 miles per hour. Now there's like 52 people that throw pitches over 100 miles per hour.
And in talking to, I remember had this conversation with Chuck Ristano, the former pitching coach who was here last year, now is the head coach at Navy. And he said that I was asking him, like, all these guys that throw in college now, you have all these guys in college that throw in the high 90s. And he said it's just year-round strength training now and all the advancements in terms of physical training, which is great. but it's still a human body. And so now you've got so much more torque on the body.
Pressure on it.
These
it's not a natural motion, unlike in softball, which is underhand. That's why you don't see that injury in softball. That's a natural motion. It is not natural to snap one off up here at 102. The other part of that is that those kids all know speed gets them paid. There's a direct correlation to a lowered ERA the higher you throw the baseball, the faster you throw the baseball. And they know that. Problem is, your career may be shortened by 10 years if you don't learn how to pitch. And if all you're doing is throwing the baseball past somebody at 101 miles per hour. But look at these bullpens. We watch MLB every night. I watch MLB every night. I love it. Every night when somebody goes to the pen, they're bringing in a guy that throws 100. It's insane.
At least high 90s.
And we're all old. So we remember when only Nolan Ryan threw 100 or J.R. Richard.
I remember watching 20 years of baseball, not knowing how hard anyone was throwing because the radar gun wasn't anywhere. And I think that's changed too. Starting in like the late 90s, they started putting that radar gun up because Greg Maddux probably threw 91. I remember specifically he was in a game where they actually had a radar gun on him. And people always thought he threw like 86. He was throwing low 90s, which was pretty hard back then.
But he also could throw 88 and move it.
And he could move it. Yeah. But now it's like but Rob Dibble, he was the guy that was, oh my God, he throws 98 miles an hour. Holy cow. Even in Major League, Ricky Vaughn.
Right.
He's throwing 96 and they're wowed by it.
Yeah,
like now he'd be a middle reliever.
I can't believe Aroldis Chapman's still pitching. It's like, dude, that guy was throwing 100 10 years ago.
The other night he threw 102 when he came in. I was like, good Lord, but he's also huge and on steroids, I'm sure.
Oh, he's on all kinds of things.
Yeah, he's on a lot of things. I wouldn't say that to him, but I'll say it here in the comfort of this studio.
Sure, yeah, he's not around. He's not in Tallahassee.
Absolutely not. Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Dogs in one day into a building already housing 120 dogs with only 5 open kennels. The shelter posted a plea to its Facebook page late Thursday evening. 60 of the dogs arrived as a result of an investigation by Leon County Animal Control. The biggest thing that people can help with is adopting. They also have options for people looking to foster or volunteer as well. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. 85 this afternoon under partly cloudy skies. Southerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies again tonight, 61. High temperatures reach up to 84 tomorrow. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Partly cloudy skies and dry Thursday and Friday with highs in the upper 80s. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, it's 79 degrees.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. AutoGuide.com recently did a side-by-side comparison of the Toyota Corolla and our Nissan Sentra. You're going to think I'm making this up, but it's true. They concluded with this statement: the Nissan Sentra might be the best-looking compact sedan in America. Most Nissan customers know that Sentra is a great-looking car. They sell as fast as we can get them. We called the factory and said we can sell as many Sentras as you can send us. Well, our request was answered. We just got a huge shipment of Sentras. So Corolla owners, come see for yourself. Sentra is the most car you can buy for the money. With prices from around $22,000 to $25,000, your low car payment will shock you. Try $415 per month with zero down. You heard me right. No money down and only $415 per month. We also have 0% financing for 72 months on the all-electric Aria SUV with $7,500 off on leases and another $1,000 in bonus cash. Zero down gets you a low mileage lease payment just $529 per month, and that includes tax. Kraft Nissan, Tallahassee.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
More headliner questions. Let's keep it going here. Henry says, what would have to occur on Saturday to alter your outlook on the upcoming season?
I mean, I don't want to say it, but a horrible injury.
Don't say it.
It would have to be something.
I don't know that anything crazy would happen that would, I mean, I guess like if a receiver just made like big time plays, because to me, that's the one thing we really haven't seen from this team. We've seen the running game hit.
Yeah.
We've seen good defensive plays, a lot of good plays by the secondary. I think we think the defensive line is going to be really good.
Yeah.
So I don't think anything there would, if the linebackers like Sean Murphy or Blake Nicholson or somebody like that's making plays sideline to sideline, or if a receiver is just mossing people, which I wouldn't think it's going to happen because we haven't seen it. Those are the only two things that would change me a whole lot, man. Because
so that's all for the good. You see where Ira went?
Yeah,
he went straight to the good. You're over here talking about catastrophes.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I'm going to see anything in 2 hours that's going to make me think that this isn't going to be a playoff contender. You know?
Agreed, but that's why he said what would have to occur to dramatically alter your outlook. I don't know.
I guess other than an injury, like there's nothing really that would make me think that what we saw for 3 weeks was not real, and what we're seeing now is real.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, true. So think about it
that
this way.
also helps us. I mean, that the context of we do watch practice every day, so it's hard for us to answer that because I don't think anything in that 2 hour window will change what I think of Jalen Lucas or Marvin Jones or this guy, that guy, even if they don't play well, or if somebody that hasn't had a good spring makes a couple of catches. That doesn't mean that I've completely changed what I think of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could think that even if DJ went out and played terribly, it wouldn't alter my view of what's possible. I just look at it as a bad day at the worst possible time.
Get it out of your system.
Eyes are on you.
No, the worst possible time is
it a game? Yeah, it's a game against Georgia Tech or whomever.
Not a showcase.
But I do. I mean, yeah, I don't really think there's too much. I think we all three of us going into the spring game believe this is a very good football team that should vie to win the conference and be a college football playoff team. I think they should be a college football playoff team.
Yeah, I definitely think they will. And I think that, to me, I'm going to vote for them unless something changes dramatically. When we go to Charlotte this summer, I'll be picking them to win the ACC.
You think if they go 8-4, the committee, knowing how wrong they were last year, will just give them a break? And
I think Herb Street will make the argument for them.
Yeah,
that they deserve to get in. And
it's the best 4-loss team I've ever seen.
I don't know what you guys are looking at, but it's clear that this is the best possible scenario here.
Good question. Yeah, and the other thing, I think when as far as this team, somebody was asking in the chat, like basically how bad, listening to us talk, do they need to go get a portal receiver? I think I don't think it's imperative. Like, I don't think it would be a problem if they don't go get a portal receiver, but it wouldn't, they can't just go get a body.
Yeah,
like
it's got to be a difference maker.
If it was an elite receiver, I think it could change this offense because
they usually do.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I just don't know that we've seen elite.
And here's
receiver.
the name. If Saturday Hakeem has like 6 for 140, that's something that could alter my opinion of this entire
team,
because he hasn't been that guy so far in the spring. Not been awful. He's made plays, but he has not separated himself into an elite receiver that I think we kind of hoped he would.
He may still.
He's also he's a redshirt freshman that's really in his first year of college football.
So. And I think the offense, I mean, again, the running game, as Corey wrote about in his column today, you can read it at warchant.com. The running game has been very good. I think it's been a pleasant surprise compared to what it looked like in the fall. I think they are going to be able to run the football. I think DJ's got a big arm. I think they're going to scheme up a lot of big plays.
Agreed.
So it's just like that would be a nice cherry on top to have a dominant receiver.
Do we have to do this again, Corey? I think he's a sophomore.
Did he say he's a redshirt freshman?
Whatever.
It's become. I mean,
it's COVID screwed it up, man. I assume they're all redshirt younger than you think.
You wouldn't let us get away with it.
You're right. You're right.
And I expect this is where I hold you.
I have a high.
We're up
high
here, man.
Here
what
on
are we
show.
doing?
Yeah.
This has become a consistent thing.
Yeah. I'm sorry to Hakeem and all the other sophomores.
Think about it. People who are sophomores like he can't do it. He just will not
recognize that as a class.
It's not even a thing to him anymore. Justin writes, I saw that Holbrook will be out of the game against Mercer and was asking wondering if he could sit with the animals. What would be more iconic than Holbrook slinging back beers while watching Tibbs hit dongs?
Yeah, he actually tweeted that. He asked if he could sit with the animals.
That's pretty funny.
So he can't play because he got ejected?
Yeah.
So those Miami kids can't play either? Dude, that's crazy. Good for that's like their best hitter and their number 2 hitter in the lineup for Miami. I'm talking about.
They're not any good anyhow. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, they don't care. They've cashed in.
Season's over. that's pretty funny. It would be fun to see him up in the stands guzzling. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're suspended or you're not even allowed in the dugout, probably, right? Because it's the stupid NCAA. Yeah. So, yeah, he should be up there. What else is he going to be doing?
Austin did ask me if I could win the Masters if I started every hole on the green. And I just love the question because the greens at Augusta are so crazy. Right. And the answer would have to be, do you get
to pick where it is on the green?
Yeah,
well, no, because then you're 4 feet. You're within 2 feet every time.
I'm 1 foot if I want to pick where I'm. Yeah, but it's a fun question because I think the answer for most of us would be no. We probably couldn't, which is really embarrassing. But I would also want to have. Do I get a day to putt them?
Yes, I think
that's the whole
Wednesday
thing.
You get to putt.
Like I get a chance to putt them before. You're not just saying willy nilly. Get out there. You're 40 feet from every hole on greens that are big enough to do it, and whatever you card, Jeff, and you have no putts prior on these greens. I'd probably be in trouble.
But even if you 4-putt every par 5,
I'd be shooting
birdieing
par.
every par 5.
I'd be even. Well, yes, you would be.
You might be bogeying all the threes,
but you could be bogeying the threes, and you could be bogeying and double bogeying. Like you could put it off the green at Augusta very easily.
You're definitely on the leaderboard.
Oh, I'm on the leaderboard.
I think you're on the leaderboard.
Yeah, no,
I think those last 3 or 4 putts get a little nervy.
Hands are a little
nervy.
You think we could have won the Jeff Cameron Invitational if we had done that?
Buddy, they would have renamed the tournament after us. We were putting fools.
Go Noles writes, okay, boys, more important to a successful season, DJU at a completion percentage of 64% or higher, or finding 2 dudes for Kalen and Bethune? I'm going to go with the latter. I'm going to go the latter.
And then they may have them. We'll see. But no, I don't think – because I don't think you need DJ to hit 64%. You're going to hit a lot of big plays.
Yeah.
Burke wants to know what our favorite registers, goodness gracious, I struggle with that word, sausage recipe is.
Recipe or
now listen, the 3 of us aren't cooking a damn thing, Burke, with this. Now our wives,
we're grilling them up, or
Stephanie does. She cooks.
She does. Yeah, I just like them with scrambled eggs, man. I like them with scrambled eggs.
Chop them up. Get that jalapeno
in the jambalaya. It's good. Even again, as I've said, the box jambalaya, throw them in there, it makes it
changes it.
It's a game changer.
Do you get the spicy? You get the jalapeno?
Yeah, we do. But with the jambalaya, we do the andouille, of course. But no, I love the cheddar jalapeno.
Choco McNasty asserts that I did not read his question last week, and he wants to know.
Is this a Twitter? Is he Twitter, right?
He's Twitter.
Well, yeah, because the Twitter guys are aggressive.
But
Facebook,
here
you just take what you get.
This is what he says. Why don't we settle this once and for all? A Facebook versus Twitter battle royal. Let's see who could raise the most money for the battle's end. Taylor Swift presents the trophy for the winner. What say you? Well, I mean, Thursday, we're doing a show. It's the JCS, I'll grant you, but we are doing a show for the second harvest of the Big Ben like we did a year ago. So channel your frustrations and the need to raise some money for a good cause.
It sounds like he wants to raise money for an even better cause, which is the battle's end.
Well, I think we want to help out
the kids, whatever,
folks in need. Folks
yeah.
who are
so he wanted a battle's end, but yeah, that's obviously a worthy cause.
Football players got to eat too.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
We're in the league too. All right. Noel Dad Gaming writes, it's time to have the talk. What is a realistic expectation for the baseball team, assuming they get both Leiter and Ben back? National seed seems likely top 8, and therefore most likely 2 weekends of hosting. Is Omaha on the table? Of course it's on the table. Omaha's on the table. Sure. They could easily make Omaha. It's baseball. I say this every time we have a question about what is a reasonable expectation. Put yourself in a position to get back to Omaha. Right now, they've certainly done that. And then once you get out there, obviously, it's kind of like a crapshoot. Baseball's a fickle game.
It's a dang crapshoot once the NCAA tournament starts,
That's
man,
correct.
anymore. It is a crapshoot.
You definitely, Leiter's coming back. From everything we hear, it sounds like Leiter's going to be back pretty soon. If Leiter's back and you have Jamie Arnold in a regional format or super regional, I like your chances, man.
You feel good.
Well, the offense. I mean, they're not going to shut out other teams, but with your offense,
well, I'm saying
with those 2 guys.
You got 2 legitimate frontline type starters with a great offense and a good defense.
Bart says Ira and Cruz, so we're just along for the ride.
That's fine.
According to Bart. You have to lose 1 starter from the team, but you get to pick up a player from the portal. Any player. Who are they? So lose a player and
just
pick up
a player from somewhere.
Well, I mean, I guess they have to be in the portal, so we'd have to comb the portal right now to answer this.
So we're not giving names; we're giving a position, I would assume.
I'm not afraid to name names, but you probably don't want to do that.
I mean, so you're giving up a starter. I think you could give up a starter at, I'm trying to think, probably any starter at receiver.
Yeah.
And then
go get you like a
stud.
First round pick.
Yeah.
I think that's the answer. I think you got the answer right.
Yep.
You might even be able to give up a starter at running back and go get another one.
Yeah, you could.
You could, because they have a lot of players at both those positions. I was going to say defensive back because they're loaded there, but I don't really want to give up either one of those two starters.
Right.
We assume that's going to be AZ and Fintrell.
Yeah.
Who are both playing really well.
They are both playing really well. That would be
well.
Yeah. That's a good call. Gentlemen, through the first weeks of practice viewing, have you seen a guy who is just a dog emerge? A guy who will not get beat? A perfect player, guys. Do you have the perfect player? Do we have that on this team?
No.
Listen, if Darrell Jackson wants to win the rep, he's winning the rep.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously,
But even Azaria's played great, but he gets beat sometimes.
Well, DBs are always going to get beat. I mean, that's just hard to. You're not going to have a 100%.
But he's mad when he gets beat, which I love to see. Like he takes it really personally, which is good. The great ones do, but it happens rarely, but it does happen.
So Kayvon asked us in the chat, what's our signature dish? I'm guessing this isn't necessarily registers related. So again, I got into trouble when I talked about my chili last time because my wife took it as I was.
How did your wife even know about it?
Coworkers, they listen.
Yeah,
and they
I know she ain't.
A bunch of snitches out here.
Get stitches over there. At
what
the
are we doing?
But it's still my chili. If you had to make something, what would it be?
Steaks. I'm really good at.
I'm good at steaks.
I'm really good at steaks.
Corey, come on.
You haven't made anything in your life.
I literally haven't made myself food in probably since before COVID.
But when you were single,
Eggs.
when you were single and you weren't a man of great wealth,
can you make an omelet?
Yes, I can make an omelet.
That's important.
Right,
and
because anybody can do scrambled eggs. That's a lazy man's meal.
Yeah. No, but that's what I would do is I'd try to make an omelet. I'd kind of screw it up a little bit. And I'm like, looks like we're having scrambled eggs. And I would just chop up the omelet.
But then you eventually figured it out.
Yeah, I can make an omelet.
You don't enjoy cooking at all?
No.
Oh, there's some things that are great about cooking. Man, if you have a back deck, like I got a back deck, I get my Bluetooth speaker. I get that Pit Boss going. I'm grilling. I shut off the house. Everybody can go to hell. It's me. It's a cold beer. It's my music. It's a baseball game.
Yeah.
Steph loves
heaven
grilling.
on earth.
Steph loves grilling. Is that weird?
And you love the fact that Steph loves grilling.
Yeah.
I mean, I know but look, man, this is 2024. There aren't gender-specific roles that we have.
Agreed. I'm not saying that it can only be but I'm just saying you don't like that, man. The process of
no,
it's bizarre.
Never. I mean, I like eating stuff off a grill. I mean, I can grill a hot dog.
Corey's not big on the whole effort part.
He doesn't like to try hard or do anything, but yet you got yourself in great shape by trying hard.
Right.
I would think that carries over to other aspects of your life.
It carries over to this podcast, which I've been phenomenal at for 2 years. It just doesn't carry over to the kitchen.
I'm going to give a shout out to our friend Tim Littefeld. He's a big griller. I mean,
I've been at his house. He and I have hung out while we grilled.
I mean, he'll like legit smoking stuff. Like I grill. But it's basically just grilling chicken wings, grilling chicken.
I can smoke
steak, grilling. I'm smoking things.
I can smoke it.
Not too much effort.
Grill it. I can do it.
Green egg. Get your green egg up in you,
man. Good. I'm gonna grill tonight. Maybe later. I know you got me thinking about it.
We could do a podcast or a show where we teach Corey how to grill, or we
could do a video for sure.
Corey,
could you?
We let Corey try to grill, and we just make fun of him.
In a pinch, we only have a minute, and I can't ask another question in a minute. In a pinch, if I said, Corey, listen, we're running, like we're having a get together, okay? And I was like, hey, we're on our way. Just cook up some burgers for everybody when they get there. Could you do it?
I could throw burgers on there.
You could competently do it.
The issue is I don't know how, other than cutting into it, how do you know if they're done?
No, you're ruining it right off the bat, aren't you?
You can get a meat thermometer.
There are meat thermometers.
So if I get a meat, and I have to, and I mean, I guess I Google how high the thermometer should be. Yeah. I can take a burger and throw it on a grill and turn a grill on.
How many egg omelets do you make? Like I'm talking about 3 egg, 4 egg, 5 egg.
Sometimes 4. My man eats 6 eggs.
No, hey, really quick.
You don't make a 6 egg omelet.
I can't. 6 eggs, and he gives 6 eggs.
Hold on a second. It's a great meal, and I'll put some feta cheese in there, buddy.
6 eggs.
Oh, it's just heaven on. You don't like eggs?
Just go cheddar cheese or American cheese. Good quality cheese. Feta.
American cheese isn't even cheese.
Feta smells like cheese.
Feta
Any cheese that smells like cheese is not going in this mouth.
If you take the eggs,
you put blue cheese crumbles, blue cheese crumbles in there.
Oh, that's good.
Oh God.
You whip them up and then you put that feta cheese in there.
No,
maybe
no feta cheese.
Maybe a little bit of bacon.
I like how you keep talking and then occasionally look over at that clock.
You know,
two hats at once, man. You're doing it though.
I've been multitasking all my life, Corey. It's an amazing skill. I'm going to turn your mics off for Corey and Ira. I'm Jeff. So it's got a stall here for 5 seconds. It's a very exact science, everybody, and I'm mastering it. And it starts in 4, 3, 2,